all you can and you're running with kings. But how far could you go if you run with the wind? And the chances you take are what give you wings, and you can fly.
Hello, it's a great day to learn from each other. I'm Lou Bayer, CEO of Civility Experts Incorporated, and this is Consider Civility. So this short session is about the S.O.F.T approach, and the S.O.F.T approach is something that we've devised at Civility Experts. It's a strategy for managing incivility when it may feel like you've exhausted options or there is nowhere to go. And so this session is actually meant for, whoever, but I had promised the attendees at the QNet session, which is communicating civility, credibility, and confidence, about a week and a half ago. Some of you had to leave because there was a snowstorm or some flurries and icy conditions, and so we ended the session early, but I did promise that I'd give you this explanation of S.O.F.T approach, so here you go. If you have questions or you don't quite have what you need yet, please email support@civilityexperts.com, and Jacqueline will set you up, arrange a call or something with me. So S stands for situational. So that means that what you want to do is consider, is the behavior typical, or is the person behaving in a way that is out of the ordinary? Maybe they're usually on time and this time they're late. Maybe they don't usually speak to you in that kind of harsh tone, and for whatever reason today they're pretty harsh. So the idea is that if you can assess pretty quickly that you're not being targeted, that there's not a pattern of behavior here, that the person, for whatever reason or circumstance, is behaving uncivilly, then often we'll make a choice just to let it go. Unless, of course, it's causing harm or it's a safety issue, we're not going to let that go. But if it's something that doesn't have a huge consequence right at that moment, if I can navigate it and if I can see that the person is maybe focused elsewhere, whatever. If it's situational, we're going to let it go. We're not going to pick that battle. We're not going to fight that fight. We'll let it go. O means other. So in this case, what you want to be doing is asking yourself, if you are the only person being impacted. So in a leadership position, of course, it should be obvious that if a lot of people are impacted, or a client is impacted, or a vulnerable person is impacted, clearly you're going to take some action. However, if I am the only person who's impacted, maybe you didn't refill the coffee or something, and it upset me for that 3 minutes when I want to get my coffee. But it doesn't impact the rest of the team. It doesn't impact productivity. It's not something that I'm going to be annoyed about 3 weeks from now. There's not a huge consequence. Then the same thing, I'm going to let that go. But if somebody else is impacted, then I have often a moral and legal obligation to do something about it. So if I see somebody causing somebody else harm, for example, I need to take some action. F means future. So if I ask myself, if I do nothing, what comes next? And if I understand that there's going to be an impact in the future that is not positive, then I should be taking some action and doing something. So it may be, for example, that I watch somebody steal something. Maybe it's office supplies. I do nothing. I have to consider, have I just given that person permission to steal or to move on to bigger things, or have I just given the impression that I'm okay with that kind of behavior, and what's the impact of that down the road? If I don't tell somebody that they're behaving badly, if I don't correct something when I have the opportunity to, what happens next? And can I navigate that? What are the consequences, and am I prepared to deal with that? And if I'm not, Or if my job description says that, whatever happens next is something I'm accountable for, then I probably want to take some action. T, depending on the circumstance, you can manage this two ways. So my tendency is to say that T is talk first. So before I have a temper tantrum, before I call the lawyer, before I call you names, before I slam the door and swear, whatever it is, I would ask myself, could we talk this out first? Is there a positive, civil way that I can approach this situation, as rude as it might have been or as difficult, by talking before anything else? And you would be surprised when you find the courage to do that, how frequently you discover that you misinterpreted a situation or that there wasn't malice intended. All kinds of good things happen. Not always, but sufficiently enough that it's worth trying to talk first. In addition to talk first, T can also stand for teachable moment. So, two things here. I can say to myself, in this situation, am I supposed to learn something? Is there a teachable moment for me here? So if somebody is behaving badly, did I contribute to that? Did I bait them? Did I start something here and I was oblivious of my behavior? Is it a teachable moment for me, or is it a teachable moment for them? So in this case, if you're like me and you've made a decision that we live in a friendly universe, I want to believe and see the good in people first. I want to make the assumption that if people knew better, they'd do better. I try to imagine that maybe people are having a terrible day or a bad time and that it's not personal, and what can I do to help ease their experience? And so maybe I can explain to them through talk or my own behavior and teach them something so that they don't behave the same way in future. So again, in workplace, some of that has to do with your responsibilities and accountabilities, and I get that in real life it's not always as simple as that, but it's nice to have some sort of strategy to fall back on, and you never know if a soft approach might actually work for you. So I'll ask you to consider civility and try a soft approach. So my QNet friends, I hope you have what you need. Contact me if it doesn't make sense yet, and I'll help you. And if you're an ICTC affiliate or taking our certification course, which if you're not, we have 3 spots left in Toronto in May. But if you're taking that exam, I can tell you with confidence, the soft approach is something you should probably memorize. Thanks so much. See you again soon. Bye.
Reason why each of us comes to this earth, and your actions will always speak louder than words, and you'll never know what you're capable of.